Hey everybody, it's Jeff with Eagle Lodge Farm, and we are coming with another little update on what we've got going on. And I'll be honest, it is a beautiful day today. It's actually in the 70-degree range, whatever that is. That's like a foreign concept right now. It's the first day of May, and it's only the second time this year that we've touched 70 degrees. So it is beautiful today. It's extremely windy, but it is beautiful. Bright skies. There's not much to complain about. So we've been busy. Yesterday, today, we have been crushing it here on the farm. We've been, first and foremost, we've got one of our gardens completely prepped and ready to go. Courtney and Callie have taken kind of the lead with that. They've got everything out in terms of old post fencing from last year. They tilled it up, they weeded it out. We brought brand new compost in, re-tilled that back in, reset post, so it is ready to go. So we're excited that one garden, our pond garden, is ready. So we've got two main gardens on the outside that we're doing. First one is ready, and that is a huge accomplishment. The second big thing that we've been doing here is we've had the twins working. They have been taking down trees on our, we'll call it a hill. It was basically just where they dumped dirt years and years, decades ago, that probably from the build out of our home, and there's been lots of trees that's kind of built up. But we've determined one of the things that we're going to do on this property is we're going to put up a greenhouse, something that we are totally excited about. Hopefully, God willing, that will be going up later this summer into the fall, so it's ready to go for next year. But the spot that we want is currently occupied by this massive hill of dirt. So the first thing that needs to be done is all the trees have to come off of it, so then we can come in with some excavating equipment and actually take out the hill, level it off, and get it, the ground or the site itself prepped. So the twins have been busting their butt. They've been working on this for almost 2 days straight. They are so close to being done, at least with the trees that they can do. There's a couple that are a little bit more significant that, you know, I need to come through with a chainsaw and get, but they've been rocking it. So we got that going. Next, we have been working on cow fencing. And this, if I'm going to be completely honest, I'm so far behind where I wanted to be on this. We've got a whole brand new pasture just down the road that we're renting from a different farmer, a different property owner here on our road. And we haven't even gotten to that because we're still trying to get one piece of paddock here on our property resituated, refenced with some barbed wire, just to kind of get some things situated here. And every single time I try to do something, it feels like something gets in the way. We've got some progress. We've got a couple sections done. We got some gates up, and we're moving, but it's been slow. It seems like every time we try to do something, it's just one thing that you didn't encounter or didn't anticipate. I had a couple gigantic pine trees that are behind me. They're like 75, 80 feet. I mean, it goes up and up and up and up. Yeah, I'm not kidding. It's like 75 or 80 feet tall. And we had a couple of them come down right where our fence line was. Fortunately, we didn't have a fence up, so no harm, no foul, but they still are a problem. And so I gotta take those, section them off, move them so we can get the fence going up. So that's been one thing. But more importantly, in terms of what's really been slowing me down, is our cows itself. Oh, this is the time of year where they see grass growing on the other side of their fence. They've got this dry paddock spot that they've been in all winter long, and they are fed up with being there. They want to get on the green grass. And of course, there's always one cow that will test every little spot you can possibly have and see if they can get through the fence, and that has been our problem. And so I've spent more time rectifying and re-securing the fence on the paddock they're already in, as opposed to actually putting up the fences where they're going to go. And it's because this one particular cow has been out. He must have got out yesterday 6 times, 7 times, I don't even know. It was just constant. Before that, it was a couple times the day before that. It was just relentless. So I finally had to deal with that, and I came up with some solutions, finally got to a spot where I could figure it out. and basically lock it up. And so we haven't had any issues today, so we got into it, and that's where we've been really working on some of these other aspects. And now here we are in this paddock. We're trying to get this paddock area all situated. It's I don't know, it's maybe, yeah, I think it's like 750 feet worth of fencing that goes around. So it's not huge, but it's enough to occupy them for a day or two and keep them completely and utterly happy. But it gives them a spot to just kind of move around, and more importantly, it allows us to be able to position our loading piece. That's kind of the big kicker with all this and why they've been so motivated to do this. Last fall we created a we'll call it a loading funnel in terms of kind of a corral system. We never had anything that worked before. Quite honestly, I don't know if this one will work either because we haven't actually tested it, but we built it last fall, and now we just got to get them onto a paddock where they can access it and be able to put it on, put them into it and see how that works. Lord willing, it will all come together. So those have been the main things that we've accomplished so far this weekend. The big thing that hasn't happened though yet, aside from the paddocks itself, we haven't had any goat babies, any kids hit the ground yet. Our first goat, Justice, she's actually a couple days overdue, so it could be happening any day. And then our second goat is due, I believe, tomorrow. I think that's what Courtney said. I think it's tomorrow. So we could be having two prego moms really dropping these goat kids off at any moment, which is all the more reason to get cruising on these different things, because we are going to be busy. It's not a matter of if, it is just when. So that's our quick update for this weekend. We hope that you guys have had a blessed day, a blessed week. We'll catch up soon, especially once these kids hit the ground, and we'll definitely be sharing some exciting news with that. Have a blessed day. Oh my goodness, I gotta be honest, it's been one of those weekends where, as I mentioned just a little bit ago, the weather has been both warm but crazy windy. Now is no exception. I hope you can even hear me and it's not just wind that's in the microphone. But we were just in the paddock. We were putting up the fence line. We were taking care of some trees that had actually fallen down right where the fence line was gonna be. And then what do we hear in the distance? Crack, 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 boom! And what, immediately I knew exactly what it was. It was this tree that we had just, no, not just. It was this tree that 2 years ago, during a massive storm, came down, or partially came down. It basically ended up being this gigantic widowmaker where basically big branches and the trunk of the tree was split across. So the idea is the widowmaker is that it could fall down and it would just kill you, right? Well, of course, not only was it a big pain in the rear, but the placement of that couldn't have really been any worse. Number one, it stemmed basically across a barn, across the main path of our entire property. If you wanted to get to the sheep, if you wanted to get to the cows, if you wanted to get to our dog, you went down this path every single day. But it was hung up so high and so intertwined with so many trees, there was just nothing we could do about it. Until today, when God and Mother Nature basically intervened and it came down. And I'll be honest, we were so fortunate. Not only did no one and no animal get hurt, which is above and beyond the most important thing, but it barely clipped the corner of this barn. I mean, we're talking the absolute corner of the barn. It actually hit. Didn't bust out any windows, didn't take down the entire side of the building, and quite honestly, I thought it was going to end up going a little bit further onto it. And so even the roof looks, at least on the surface, like it's not that big of a deal. Some fences, yeah, some of it got pancaked. That's not that, in the grand scheme of things, if that's the worst that it is, so be it. I'll take it all day long. But we've got a mess. This is, it's a mess. I don't know what else to call it. It's gonna take a little bit of time to figure out how to gingerly get this down, because it's being supported by the barn. It's being supported by the fence on both sides of our pathway here. It's resting up against the main trunk, and there's still a few pieces up 25 feet up in the air that are still a good, I don't know, 15, 20 feet long. So, I mean, if they come down, that's gonna leave a mark. So we're not out of the woods yet in terms of total, we'll call it damage, but the main part is taken care of. I didn't know what to do with this. This literally was 2 years in the making. The actual tree itself, 2 years ago in this massive storm, it came down and landed right into one of our transformers, the power thing where the electric lines come in, connect to that. Started a fire, I kid you not, it started a fire up in our trees. Fire department had to come, the whole works. The only saving grace is it was an absolute thunderstorm, meaning there was a ton of rain coming down, so it kept the fire contained. So even in a major thunderstorm with all that rain, it still was a fire up in our trees, and we weren't sure with that power line coming right to our house. We didn't know what was going to come of it, but fortunately it wasn't that big of a deal. When it was all said and done, it was contained. God graced us at that moment in time. Fire department got out here within a matter of 10 minutes. And when you live in the sticks, I mean, truly, honest to God, the sticks, and the fire department can get into your house in 10 minutes, you know God's working really, really well that day. But at any rate, it came, the tab was due, it came down. I actually heard a crack in this the other morning, and I did the, that doesn't sound right, that doesn't sound good. And then I chalked it up as, yeah, I'm gonna have to deal with this sooner than later. Didn't realize sooner was gonna be just 2 days later, 3 days later, whatever it's been. So now paddock building on hold. Tree cleanup, the new priority. The farm always dictates the day, and that's our saying here on our farm. You never exactly know what you're gonna get. The farm will shape how your day unfolds. But all in all, it's been a hectic day. It's been a hectic weekend. It's been a good weekend. We've been lots of progress, as I mentioned before. Hopefully, we'll get some goat kids here in the near future. Our temperature is going to drop like 20 degrees in the next 24 hours. So maybe, just maybe, the weather will again spur something dramatic on our property. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm excited, but I got some work to do. All right, so we've got the first, and quite honestly, the easy part done. So I've got some firewood. So hey, you know, there's not all is lost on this. But now I'm at the point where I've got to make a decision on what I do. And I've got a plan. I think it's the right plan, but we'll find out here in a moment. So we got the tree. The bulk of the weight is obviously on the building. I've checked it out on the inside, and all the rafters, everything's good. The structure itself is not compromised, other than just a corner of some metal roofing, so not a big deal. I've got this branch that comes through. It annihilated this fence over here, but the weight is carried there, and there's actually some weight carried on this. So I've got to this point where I've got to make a choice. And my choice is this. I'm gonna come through and I'm gonna cut right about there with the idea that this will then just fall. It might fall and hit, because I'm anticipating this branch to kind of spring it towards the building. It's not what I want, but that's what I'm anticipating. I can't necessarily cut it in here. If I did, then this would just come and crush this fence and you know, bang against that building, and I'd still be stuck up on that corner. So I'm going there, and we're about to find out what's going to happen. Okay, everybody, you can see there's a little bit of damage to the corner of that barn. A little bit. So fortunate, so lucky. Could have been so much worse. God absolutely blessed us today. I've got a little bit of a mess. A lot of little stuff to clean up, but you know what? We also got a lot of wood that we'll be able to burn. We've got all sorts of little branches and stuff that we'll be able to throw the chipper that we need to use anyway. We got so many projects that we want to throw wood chips all over the property. So again, the property gives back to us. I know it kind of came in a sudden and an abrupt way, but at the end of the day, we've been blessed. God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. So you guys have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you soon.